Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm Richard Lyons, and we are here with episode 2 of the Lyons Den. I hope you all enjoyed episode 1, my first try out there. So bear with me. I hope it keeps getting better and better as we go along. If you enjoy this show, please give us a subscribe, and also check out our main show, the Memo Podcast, that I do with Matt Brodsky and Alex Masados. We talk mostly about sports, but given that football season has just come to an end, the Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. We're really only on basketball season. We'll probably be branching out into a little more music, movies, maybe, stuff like that. But here's where you really want to come for the movie talk. Right here in the Lyons Den. I set up my little Gryffindor blanket here, give it a little better background because we just had this black curtain hanging up yesterday. So today, what I'm going to get into is I want to talk a bit about the DC universe and the slate of DC movies we have coming out ahead of us. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I feel like a question I see all the time around is, when do you think we're going to get another Justice League movie? And it's a fair question, and it's a difficult question to answer because after the first disaster, who knows when we're going to get another Justice League movie? Is Warner Bros. Even interested in doing another Justice League movie? What we hear at the moment is that they're not really planning it, but I have forever been of the mindset that they are in wait-and-see mode. And what do I mean by that? I mean exactly what I said. They're waiting to see how this upcoming slate of movies performs and how they're received by the audience before they tell people, hey, everyone, we're bringing them all back together again. We're going for another Justice League. They want to see basically how Marvel did, how people respond to these characters and these actors with these characters, and then people are going to want to see them team up because that's really how it works, you know? And let me backtrack for a second. I do think there is a way to do it without the Marvel formula of you got to have a solo character for a solo movie for each character, build them all up, get to this one point. I don't think it has to be this like very cohesive, every movie connects to the next cinematic universe. I think you can do relatively standalone and then just have a big crossover. It doesn't have to be as complicated as the MCU, but maybe it wouldn't work that way. That's just my opinion. That's how it works in the comics. You know, all these characters have their own storylines where they do whatever they want, and then they cross over for the big Justice League issues. But maybe that wouldn't work in the movies. I don't know, but I think it can because we've seen movies with team-ups before that don't need 7 movies of build-up to get there. But I'm sidetracking here. So I'm going to go down the list of the confirmed movies we have on the slate right now, give my thoughts on what I think they're going to be like and how I think that can all lead into a Justice League movie. So first one we have up is one that's coming out in 2 days, Birds of Prey. Directed by Kathy Yan, starring Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. We all pretty much know at this point what it's about. The Birds of Prey team up, Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya, who is a cop, team up with Harley Quinn to take down Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor. The early reactions were positive, but the reviews have not come out yet. I'll see it anyway, because I'm not going to let the reviews stop me from going to see Margot Robbie. Like, why would I? But I'm excited for this movie. It looks like it's a fun, action, bonkers, just fun time at the theater. Ewan McGregor looks great as Black Mask. I'm excited to see him. I've always liked Black Mask as a character. I don't know how much this will tie in and help lead to a Justice League movie, but what it can do right now is give DC another win. So far, they had Wonder Woman, and then they had Justice League, which was a failure. But then they had Aquaman, and they had Shazam, and they had Joker. Now, Joker's not really a movie that's tied into all these other movies. Like Aquaman, there was a reference to Steppenwolf. Obviously, Superman showed up in the Henry Cavill suit with his head cut off at the top of the frame in Shazam. So there is indirect references, be that they're very little references, but there are. So Joker, while it's not part of that big universe, it's still a DC movie that grossed $1 billion. It's still a win. So Birds of Prey, that would give us, if this is a win, good critically acclaimed, doesn't have to be acclaimed, just received well, decent at the box office, that gives you 5 of the last 6 movies that are wins. You got Wonder Woman, and then Justice League is the loss, then Aquaman, Joker, Shazam, Birds of Prey. So, where am I going here? Okay, so I don't think Birds of Prey really plays a big part in working towards a Justice League, but it's just another win for DC if it is, and it's always good for the studio to be on a roll. So, after that, we have the big guns, Wonder Woman 84. This is our first really big budget DC movie that we're really getting since Aquaman, I guess, which now is that over a year ago? Yeah, that came out last December, so it's been a year and a month so far since we got Aquaman. So this is really the first big budget DC movie, high-powered character we're getting. And I think after seeing the first one, where you can all trust Patty Jenkins with what she's doing, I think Gal Gadot is great as Wonder Woman. Obviously, it's called Wonder Woman 84, set in 1984. We see in the trailer that Steve Trevor comes back. What's his name? I forgot the villain's name. That Pedro Pascal's playing him. What's his name? I'll remember it in a second. But we know Cheetah's going to be in the movie. And I'm not worried about this movie. I think Patty Jenkins is a great director. I think she did a great job with the first one. I think this will be another stepping stone and another pushing forward for the DC universe. It'll probably be a hit. I would expect it to probably make $1 billion at the box office, which doesn't matter. I mean, it can make like $900 million. It's still a win, but it's going to be a big hit. And what's good about that is that we've already seen Wonder Woman cross over with all these other characters. So if you get another good movie from her, that's a step in the right direction. So, the next movie we have on the list is, hold on, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find out who Pedro Pascal's playing, because it's going to bother me forever. Who, Maxwell, I was going to say Max Landis, the writer, who is also like a piece of shit. I was going to say that, and I was like, no, that is not him. Maxwell Lord. So, that's going to be fun. And Kristen Wiig as Cheetah should be a great movie. All the vibes of the trailer are really cool. The colors. Looks like Wonder Woman's more confident now, and she's going to be swinging on lightning, apparently. Like, what the fuck? But I want to see it anyway. I don't care. So then next. This is the one we've all been waiting for what, 3 years now? When it was announced that Matt Reeves was going to direct The Batman, coming in June 2021. So, Matt Reeves directing The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. You got Paul Dano as Riddler, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Andy Serkis as Alfred, Jeffrey Wright's Jim Gordon. It's a completely stacked cast. And this is one of the more intriguing movies in this slate because people are not certain or for sure, and it hasn't been confirmed, that this takes place within the DC universe, meaning all these other characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, all these characters exist within this Batman universe. Now, we know they're not going to make an appearance. We know Matt Reeves doesn't want to cross over with these characters. He wants it to be a contained solo Batman movie, which I like. I love that. Don't worry about crossing over with anyone else. But people are worried that it's not really connected overall to the universe. And I think it will be, and I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping they're not going for another Nolan grounded, like, Joker's just a guy that throws paint on his face, and Bane's just a kind of jacked guy with a breathing mask. Like, I want to see these like fantastical rogues that Batman has and villains that he has. They're more than just like human. Like, he has Clayface, Killer Croc, all these guys, and while they're not going to be in this movie, I would like to see stuff like that down the line, and especially if rumor is he's going to be visiting Arkham Asylum in this movie. I'm very excited for this Batman movie. They say it's going to be very noir-esque, a lot of inspiration. Oh, and John Turturro's playing Carmine Falcone. There is a lot of inspiration from the 13-issue run called The Long Halloween. I just read it recently because I heard that there was some stuff taken from that and a lot of inspiration taken from that run. There's a lot of inner monologues from Batman. It's a sort of a whodunit. Gotta, go through all my rogues, find out where they were, what they were doing, and it's because someone keeps killing people related to the Falcone family. I'm not going to get into it, but if they're taking inspiration from that, I'm expecting a great movie, especially with Pattinson playing Batman. If you're nervous about him, please do not be. He's a wonderful actor. He's going to do great. Matt Reeves is a great director. I'm very excited for that movie. But, like I said, I think it'll be connected to the overall universe. There won't be any references. And in the end, it's really not Matt Reeves' choice. If they want Batman to be in a Justice League movie, if Robert Pattinson wants to do it, he'll do it. It's not Matt Reeves' choice whether Batman gets to be in another movie and whether Pattinson gets to play him in another movie. Now, maybe they can't force him to use any characters in his movie to do a crossover, and that's fine. But I don't see anything stopping Pattinson from doing a Justice League movie if he wants to. But that is my most anticipated movie on this list. I mean, who wouldn't be excited for Batman, right? I mean, come on. So, next on the list, we have The Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad 2, The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn, which we're learning is basically sort of a soft reboot. He's bringing back the same actors as the same characters, but I think they're going to pretty much ignore what happened in the first one, and it's supposed to be rated R. It's probably going to be hilarious. I love what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm hoping it's a very different type of humor and vibe than that, which he said it is. He said actually the other day that it's completely different tone and completely different humor, which should be awesome. Margot Robbie's coming back as Harley Quinn. Joel Kinnaman is going to be Rick Flag. Jai Courtney's coming back as Captain Boomerang, and then plus a whole bunch of other people. Will Smith's not coming back, but not because he's been recast. I think he's just busy because he's Will Smith. You got Idris Elba in there. I'm pretty sure John Cena's in there. Taika Waititi's probably going to die very early, but he's in it, and I love him. He's great. He's hilarious. But I think that's going to be a big hit for DC because people love what James Gunn did with Guardians. I think he's a great director. Whether you like him personally or not, he does good work. It should be a riot of a movie. People's heads exploding left and right from the things in their necks. You got Harley Quinn going crazy with her bat. You got whoever Idris Elba's playing. Love him. He's going to be great. But I'm looking forward to that. And I think it's sort of, when we're going down the list, we just had Wonder Woman and then Batman, two heavy hitters, and probably going to be relatively serious, emotional comic book movies. And then you have Suicide Squad, which is probably just going to be a bonkers, off-the-wall cocaine ride, which is fucking awesome. And I think that's a good thing that DC is doing right now, is that they're making their films feel unique. It doesn't look like it's all filmed by the same person, which is something that's a personal gripe with Marvel. I love the Marvel movies. I think I enjoy all of them. They're wonderful. I loved Endgame. I loved Infinity War. I love them all. They just kind of look to me like they're all filmed by the same person, and that works because it's supposed to be the same universe, so it makes sense that it would look relatively similar. They do have their unique qualities to them, like Thor Ragnarok was much different than any other Thor. Doctor Strange was very different than most Marvel movies, but in terms of just like the way they're filmed, there's a very similar quality there. But I feel like what we're seeing now, you're going to get the bright Wonder Woman 1984, like this 80s vibe going for you, and then you're going to get the dark noir Batman, probably mostly set at night and just very like internal struggle, like internal monologue type movie. And then you're going to get the batshit crazy Suicide Squad, rated R, people dying left and right, heads exploding. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And I like that DC is doing that. So the Suicide Squad, if it's successful, I think can sort of help build to another Justice League movie, because maybe down the line, and this might be a little difficult to do given how many characters there would be, but maybe down the line they're looking at a Suicide Squad versus Justice League movie that was a comic run. So we'll see what they do with that. But it's on the DC slate. If it's a win, it's good for DC. Then we get into, okay, Black Adam, directed by, and excuse me if I'm saying his name wrong, is it Huama Colette Serra, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And this is the one I'm most skeptical of, and you may think I'm crazy for that, because it's The Rock. He's the man. He's a hit. Look, I like The Rock as a guy. He's a hustler. He's so charismatic and happy and motivational, and he works really hard. He's in a lot of things, and he's always grinding, and I respect that. But what I don't like is that how he always has to sort of be the centerpiece hero of everything. And I would like to see a Black Adam that is actually a villain. I know he's sometimes an anti-hero, and he'll fight for Earth if it's threatened because, where Kandak, is that where he's from? If it's threatened, he'll fight for it. But I want to see a Black Adam that's evil, that wants to fight Shazam, kill Shazam, lead to Black Adam versus Shazam. So I'm just nervous they're gonna sort of make it Black Adam's a good guy type thing because of The Rock, and he's not gonna be very intimidating, and it's just gonna be a typical Rock performance, which I don't usually enjoy. I feel like he's usually very similar in all his movies. Just that big jacked hero, A-list guy that you recognize him in every role because he's doing the same thing. If it's done well, and I'm sure it'll be a hit anyway because it's The Rock, it'll be a win for DC, and he is actually always campaigned. He's wanted to see Black Adam versus Superman, and specifically Henry Cavill Superman down the line. So if this is a hit, maybe he starts campaigning, and I don't think actors have much of a say in this anyway, but, if he starts publicly campaigning, hey, let's get Black Adam and first Superman fighting the Justice League, something like that, the fans start to get hyped up, all the people starting to pressure Warner Bros. Come on, we want to see this. We want to finally see another Justice League. Let's go. That could be a big step heading towards that. I don't know. I don't know much about the director. I've heard he's pretty decent. I haven't watched any of his stuff, so I'm not going to rate him myself. But that's one I'm skeptical. I think it has a high ceiling, but it also has a low floor for me because I'm just not a fan of The Rock that much. But we'll see. He's been very passionate about that. He's been cast as him for like 10 years, so he's obviously very passionate about the character. So I'm sure he'll bring his A game, and I'm sure he'll be very good. All right. Next up. Speaking of Black Adam, right after that, and that is, by the way, Black Adam is the last movie in 2021. We have Batman, Suicide Squad, Black Adam. Batman in June, Suicide Squad in August, Black Adam in December. Then in April 2022, David Sandberg is coming back to direct the second Shazam, which was, I thought it was a very good movie. I didn't think it was great or excellent. And my biggest gripe with it was the lack of action, and I understand it was like a $90 million budget. So not nothing too crazy. I understand they probably couldn't do too much. It's just when you have a character like Shazam, who is basically Superman, I was expecting a little more on the action front, and it let me down a little bit, but it had heart. It was emotionally, it was funny. Zachary Levi was really funny. The kids were funny, and the action was decent. And the story made sense. It flowed nicely. It was like pretty tight script. It all went right through. I didn't have a problem with any of that. But it was very good. I didn't think it was great. But it got pretty much critical acclaim. Pretty sure it's in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. But it didn't do too great at the box office. I think it made maybe 300-something million, 400-something million, which is good for a movie on that budget. But it was sandwiched between Captain Marvel and Endgame. So it really had no shot. So we'll see how it where it releases against. I mean, who it releases against coming up. But it's coming out in April 2022. I'm sure it'll have a bigger budget. I think Sandberg's a good director. I trust him, and they were willing to have Cavill in the movie, and due to a scheduling conflict, it couldn't happen. So Shazam is very much set in the DCEU that was set up. I mean, there were so Aquaman references, Batman references all over. They were talking about so many DC characters in that movie. So if this movie is a success, and if they're going to take the same approach of being very evident that it's in this DC universe, I could see them having a character crossover into the movie. And at this point, I'm basically saying if all these movies are hits, I'm saying DC is going to be on a roll. And they don't have to be like a critically acclaimed $1 billion movie. Just like, like the worst rated Marvel movies, like 70-something% makes pretty good money. It just can't be a flop. It can't be Justice League making $600 million when you should be making $1.5 billion. They just got to be, they just got to move the brand forward. Don't make the brand look bad. Be at least decent movie. Make some money so that they can keep putting money into these movies. But I'm interested to see what they do with Shazam, given the kids are getting older. I wonder if they'll eventually just have Zachary Levi be Shazam, like on his own. Like when he transforms, he's a normal guy. And then it's just like Zachary Levi, is a normal guy. And then he's Shazam, but he's jacked, whatever. I don't know. I wonder. They obviously teased. What's his name? Mr. Mind, is that what his name is? The little caterpillar. They tease something like that for the next movie. I don't know much about the character, but obviously they have something set up. They are making it. We'll see. But I'm excited for that one because they were the movie who really embraced being part of the bigger picture. So if they can go further with that, maybe that opens more things up. People are like, oh, come on, now I want to see them together. Like, we keep referencing and showing all of these heroes exist. Let's get them on the same screen. So after that, we have, and there's 2 movies left, we have The Flash. The Flash, everybody, in July 2022, directed by Andy Muschietti, who directed the It movies. Is this movie happening? I don't know. It's been through 400 different directors. Everyone at one point was saying Ezra Miller was out. He's not doing it. They don't want him to be it anymore. Some people didn't like him in Justice League. Others did. There's been a lot of controversy and uncertainty about this movie until, which I think was a big step in the right direction, when you had Ezra Miller appear on the crossover for the CW shows, Crisis on Infinite Earths. He appeared for like a minute, and apparently Warner Bros. Went to the CW and said, can you put Ezra in this? It wasn't CW reaching out to Warner Bros. Can we get Ezra in this? Apparently the episode was locked and done, and Warner Bros. Said, can you fit Ezra in this? And they were like, yes, we can. They got him on a soundstage, whatever, filmed it on a green screen. So the fact that Warner Bros. Is reaching out to them to put Ezra in this, that says to me that they're still interested in him being the Flash. Because why push him as the Flash still if he's not going to continue to be the Flash in their upcoming movie? And Muschietti actually said it's going to be Flashpoint, but it's going to be a different type of Flashpoint than we've seen. So what I think he means by that is we're not going to get Wonder Woman versus Aquaman and Mera getting her head cut off and the whole, Batman's dad, Thomas Wayne. I don't think we're going to get all that. I think it's going to be a very minor incident of Barry discovering he can time travel, and maybe just a simple butterfly effect. He affects one little thing, and it changes like a whole thing. And I think that might be some sort of soft reboot for the DC universe, and maybe explain some of the inconsistencies compared to the other movie he was in, Justice League, and anything that happened in those early DC movies. If they're going to do some sort of Flashpoint, I feel like that's why they're doing it. And I would rather them not waste the great real Flashpoint storyline on something like this, because I think that makes for almost how they used Civil War, Captain America Civil War. It was a Captain America movie, but it was basically like Avengers Light, they were all in it. I think that's something you can do as like a third Flash movie or something, just like it'll be a Flash movie, but it's really a Justice League movie. And I think that storyline's great, and it should be done justice and done for real. I just don't think it should be the Flash's first movie. But hey, we still don't know if this movie is going to be made. But if we get to the point where we're getting a Flash movie, I think that's a pretty good indication that we're moving in the best direction possible, and that we're definitely moving towards a Justice League movie. That's in July 2022. And last on the official DC slate, or there might be more confirmed. I know there's like a Trench movie or something confirmed. I don't know if any dates or on anything are confirmed. There's some other stuff that's been discussed, but I'm just really going at the big ones here. December 2022, you get Aquaman 2 from director James Wan once again. And my favorite DC movie so far was Man of Steel, and then Aquaman is my number 2. I thought Aquaman was awesome, except the dialogue was really cheesy at times, and and they had some questionable song choices. I'm looking at you, Africa Pitbull cover. But James Wan has said he wants a better script for this one. But what I really loved about the first one was just the action. And what I loved about it is that it was filmed so you can see what's happening. That's always my biggest gripe, when there's cuts and you can't see what's going on, and every hit there's a cut to the other side. No, James Wan had long takes going around the characters, following the characters, and you saw them making impact, all these fights, and it was done so well. And even the CGI underwater, while it's not the best top-notch, you can kind of tell it's fake, obviously, but it was good enough for me. That battle underwater, that final war was amazing and epic, and I loved it. And I honestly think what they're going to go for in this next one is sort of a more like, not grounded, but, simple, very personal storyline. It'll probably be Aquaman versus Black Manta, who is not superhuman. He's just a guy in a Atlantean armor suit, or at least that's how it's been set up in Aquaman, because he got the Atlantean technology to make a suit. I don't know if that's did I say soup just now? Suit. I don't know if that's how it goes in the comics, but that's how it happened in the movie. So what I'm expecting is a more personal, like Black Manta versus Aquaman type of movie, more grounded. I don't want to say grounded because you can't really ground Aquaman, but I'm not expecting the big, flashy, all-out war storyline that we got. But I'm very excited for it. And this is the final cap on the DC run that they need to go on to move toward the Justice League movie. Because look at all the characters that I just read off. Wonder Woman, Batman, Shazam, Flash, Aquaman. I left out the Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, and Black Adam because they're not Justice League characters. But at this point, when we get to Aquaman 2, at that point in 2022, we'll have had a solo movie for Wonder Woman, Batman, The Flash, Shazam, and Aquaman. Now, Aquaman, Flash, Batman, and Wonder Woman are obviously a part of the original 7 of the Justice League. But Shazam is also in the Justice League too. He's not an original part, but he's in it. So those are 5 main Justice League characters that will have had solo movies that I'm hoping will be successful. There's good talent and directors behind them. DC's on a roll so far under Walter Hamada. They seem to know what they're doing. So at that point in 2022, if we're getting well-received movies for all these characters and DC's on this roll, I'm assuming that people are going to be screaming to see them together. I know I will. I want to see Robert Pattinson, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller. I want to see all these guys on the screen fighting Darkseid, fighting whoever in a well-made, real Justice League movie. And I don't think they should be afraid to do it. Like, everyone's like, they're not going to do another Justice League for another 15 years. They're going to run their course with Aquaman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and all this. They're going to let them end. Then they're going to wait 5 years. They're going to reboot the characters, and then they're going to start it. No. They're not, why would they wait for that? In this golden age of comic book movies, where almost every comic book movie coming out, everyone's like, it's going to make $1 billion. It's going to be the best. Why would they wait 10, 15 years to go release a Justice League movie? Maybe 3 to 5 years from now, but not as long as everyone's saying. People are going to want to see it after this whole build-up that they're working towards. People are going to want to see it, and Warner Bros., as I said in the beginning, are going to wait and see until the hype gets to its highest, and then they're going to say, hey, everyone, guess what? Boom, Justice League movie coming. My prediction is that we see a Justice League movie in 2024. That is my personal prediction. 2025 latest. I just can't see them waiting that long. If they're really moving forward, and they seem to be on the right track right now, they're moving forward with all these movies. I'm not expecting any of these to get canceled unless like Wonder Woman and Batman both severely flop. Maybe they'll stop, but I don't see that happening. So I think we're moving towards the next Justice League movie sooner rather than later, and I hope they are too. I hope they are. I'm sure a lot of people hope they are. Let me know what you think, everyone. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for tuning into this episode if you did. Remember, like, subscribe, please. Go check out the Memo podcast with me, Matt, and Alex. It's very fun. We have a good time, great banter, and thanks again for tuning in. And I'll see you tomorrow, because I'm only going to be releasing these on the days that the Memo does not come out, because I'm not trying to overshadow the Memo. Everyone wants to see me. I get that. But so when the Memo comes out on a day, I'll be skipping that day. But any other day, you can tune in and watch me. And be on the lookout for the next episode of The Lyons Den and the Memo. Thank you, everyone.